So usually the superstars in any country, they're either singers, rappers, actors, but in this city, they're real estate agents. The most important question about you that everybody wants to know, what happened to the haircut? For the people who are watching, I want to pick your brain when it comes to sales.
I believe sales can be taught. There are obviously certain skills, certain characteristics that can assist you in sales. For example, I'm from Pakistan. Some Pakistanis come in and they just want to mingle with other Pakistanis here. Or if you're an Arab, you come in and you try to find your community. Which is good as well in a certain way. You know, you want to feel like you're
But
in your
expand.
home.
Yeah.
Gotta expand. Especially if you're in sales. People are realizing that this region of the world is the new Western civilization.
I agree. Basically, the guest today, he just laughed. You've seen him. Farooq Al Sayid, a very known figure. I guess everybody who's watching this podcast and who lives in Dubai or around it, they know who's Farooq. But I have also some audience from abroad, like UK and the US. So if you might introduce yourself, give a little bit of background for those people who might not know you.
Sure. So first of all, thank you, Walid, for having me
welcome.
here. It's my pleasure to be here on your podcast. It's been a long time coming. My name is Farooq Sayid. I am the CEO of Springfield Properties. We're one of the leading real estate agencies in Dubai. We've been in business since 2008.
Wow.
So it's been a long journey in Dubai's real estate market. We've seen multiple waves up and down in Dubai's real estate market. We handle a team of nearly 200 people now. So we're a pretty big team now.
Wow.
We sell over 3 billion worth of real estate every year. In terms of volume, we're among the top agencies for pretty much most of the leading developers in Dubai, including Imar, Dubai Holding, Miras, Nakhil, Shoba, Demac. We've won awards from pretty much every major developer. Benghazi, of course, recently. We were named as amongst their top agents as well. Besides that, a lot of other developers. We have been doing a lot of business, mostly focused on new developments. All right, and investment properties. So we deal with a lot of international clients, and real estate is all I do. And,
amazing.
Of course, social media has really helped in the last few years.
Yeah, on YouTube, you are really a superstar, bro. Like,
thank you.
I think you are one of the first people, if not the first person, who used the YouTube as a platform to talk about Dubai real estate.
I mean, luckily, yes, I had a first mover advantage back in 2019, just before COVID. I started doing YouTube videos, literally stumbled upon it. There are a few great guys in the US, obviously using YouTube. There's Ryan Serhan and a few others that are doing amazing work on YouTube. And then I thought, there's a little bit of a void in this city, and we have beautiful real estate. And Dubai is a city known for its real estate and investments. And there's so much, so many people from abroad investing in Dubai. So, luckily I had the first mover advantage, and then the videos picked up in COVID. I think people were locked in and cooked in their apartments, had nothing else to do but watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Luckily, the channel picked up in COVID.
So it was in COVID?
Yeah, in COVID it went up. I think it went up to 100K subscribers in less than a year, so that was a good time. And then, of course,
But you started, how many years or months you started prior to COVID, if you might share that?
Hardly 6 months.
So, 6 months. And then
6 months, so there were a few videos online. And then in COVID, obviously, I had... I couldn't shoot anything, but the videos started, raking up a lot of
everybody
videos,
was like,
views and stuff. And then, of course, you get that little bit of a, obviously push from the viewers. And it's really helped us brand Springfield as, not just regionally known, not just known in Dubai, but globally. I was in London the other day, and, last week I was in London for the opening of Benghazi's new sales boutique. And I had at least 20 people during my 5 days visit, people walking up to me on the street. Literally, I'm walking on Oxford Street. I had a couple of guys come up to me. I had somebody, I was walking in Mayfair. I had a guy roll up in a car and go like, Farooq, I watch your videos on YouTube.
I told you the stars in this city are in real estate.
So I said, wow, this is the power of social media. And it really makes a difference when you're selling real estate.
And look, personal branding is amazing, but personal branding in YouTube... It's next level, it's stardom. You're becoming a star.
It helps. It helps.
Yeah.
Videos stay
because you cannot
online.
call yourself an influencer if you're big on YouTube. You are like a star or a celebrity. Because influencers that are only in social media, I don't think social media, YouTube is considered social media. Even though some people they say, oh, social media, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. But I don't think YouTube is a video platform.
Yeah.
I don't think it's social media, and playing that game is harder.
Yeah, of
It
course.
takes a
Longer
certain-
format content. You have to be on,
and you have to be of a certain charisma and character. Like the reason why people are avoiding it because it's hard and it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
It's long format. But there is the most important question about you that everybody wants to know. What happened to the haircut? What happened to why you changed the haircut?
I went for Hajj last month.
Yeah.
So I shaved off my head. So I'm still growing back my hair. I love my hair. I love my hairstyle. So hopefully give me a couple of months. Hopefully the hair will grow back.
By the way, it suits you very well, the short hair as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like, it'll give you a different persona.
Different look. Yeah. I was on Hajj, and of course in Hajj you have to shave our head off completely. So it's still better.
But like it's a different style. I mean, the change is also good. But you're gonna come back to the floof, the wavy one.
Maybe I might keep this for a few months. Let's see. It's a lot less work. I mean, you have beautiful long hair. I'm sure it takes a while to maintain them.
When you wake
shampoo
up,
them, they're like all over the place. You have to comb them. You have to put some product on there.
Yeah.
Me, I wake up, I shower, I look like
That's
this.
it.
Boom. So
Amazing.
I'm enjoying short hair.
Yeah. Look, I really want to pick your brain in this podcast. I mean, for the people who are watching, I want to pick your brain when it comes to sales, because not only that you're good in sales and you have the characteristic and the charisma for it, but you've been doing sales in Dubai real estate for so many, let's say, eras.
Yeah.
There's different eras that you noticed.
We had different times, different tools that we use for marketing.
Yeah.
Back in 2008, I mean, I started even prior to 2008.
Yeah.
So 2006, 2007, we had a completely different way of marketing ourselves. Today's day and age is very different, compared to what we did back then.
Yeah.
We relied a lot on Gulf News and Khalij Times and the the property magazines that we used to have. They used to be that thick. Literally, it used to be an entire booklet that used to be printed every day. If you weren't on Gulf News and Khalij Times,
nobody
you didn't
know
exist.
you. Yeah.
Then the portals came in. It was a different time for marketing. We were foreign into the idea of having Dubizzle and Property Finder and use a portal to sell a property. So I lived through that time. Where and then obviously we started moving completely digital. Now, you don't even have to do newspaper branding anymore. Now
I think they're dying, yeah.
They're completely dying. I mean, that magazine used to be that thick, and now it's like literally 2 or 3 pages. Now all the money is being spent on online digital advertisements. Or if you're branding, you got to be on billboards, but that's more for developers. But a lot of your companies and brokerage companies are now marketing completely digital. So the times have changed. The tools have changed. The buyer's attitude has changed. The price points have changed completely. The volume has completely evolved. Last quarter was a all-time record for Dubai in terms of the volume and value of sales.
I thought we would never beat 24, but like we're beating 24. Yeah, it's crazy.
And people are telling me, is the market so? I said, dude, we just had the highest quarter in the history of Dubai.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In terms of value and volume.
Yeah.
So we're at a beautiful time in Dubai. Of course, like they always say, the best time to buy property was 4 years ago during COVID. But even right now, there are so many opportunities in Dubai, and that's why people are flocking.
But do you think sales changed? Everything changed. But do you think the basics, the source, is the interaction, the cold call, or the conversation that a salesperson have with a client changed?
See, at the end of the day, the human-to-human interaction stays the same. One of my favorite books on sales or on business was written, I think, 70 years ago.
Yeah.
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. He wrote that book 70 years ago.
Yeah.
Everything in that book, even to this date, it stands true. Why? Because human-to-human interaction doesn't change. Your tools for marketing, which is just one step of the sales process, is constantly evolving. The expectations of the client, which is the product, is changing. But our interaction doesn't change. We're still two humans interacting. You're still buying into the idea of obviously investing in the city. And there is an exchange of trust. There's an exchange of that good feeling that, yes, this is the right person to deal with. And this is the right city to buy in. And this is the right project to buy in. So at the end of the day, at the very human level, the interaction is still the same.
Okay, with that being said, that the sales didn't change and the sale process didn't change. If we go deeper in the life of every salesperson, from the day he or she they join, let's say in real estate or in another field,
Yes.
their approach and their sales process, it evolves, right?
course.
So they start gaining some sort of new skills, experience. They understand human behavior better and all of that. And I know that you've been doing I think it's the only job you did.
Yes.
You never did anything except this.
So I ran. My family had a few businesses before this, but I mean, I'm talking before the age of 20. I might have dabbled in some different things. Or before the age of 21, I dabbled in different things. But pretty much my entire professional career, I've only ever done real estate.
And when we say real estate, you did sales in real estate.
Sales in real estate.
Exactly, specifically.
So I was selling.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still selling till this
till
day.
today.
Till
Just
today.
like to the masses.
Yeah.
You're not talking to one person, you're talking in a channel.
Yeah.
But my question is this. First question about sales. When you joined the first time, I think you were 18, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Around
Even prior,
18.
16 was the first time I
16.
joined a real estate brokerage company.
Yeah. So when you were selling, I don't know what people were telling you. Was it were you one of the people who had it innately, the sales acumen, or is something you had to develop? Like, and what I want to understand with this question with you is that some people believe that sales it's something innate and someone have to develop it, and some others they say no. Sales is something that you can teach anybody. What do you think about that?
I believe sales can be taught.
Okay.
There are obviously certain skills, certain characteristics that can assist you in sales. For example, people like to deal with well-groomed people, good-looking people. So that's a natural thing that you have no control over. If you're a good speaker, a good orator, that can add on to your sales skills. But I have seen so many good-looking, well-spoken, super confident, those people who are innately confident people that do not perform well. Why? Because they lack the discipline, they lack the skills or product knowledge. Sales is a combination of a lot of things. It's not just one skill where you are a very good speaker or you're very good looking or you're very, charismatic naturally. All of that can assist. But if you look at my company, I have some of our top leaders in our business. If you look at them, you might not think that they would be top salespeople, but they are, because they understand how they can, make the other person trust them. They understand they might not be the best looking or the most, gifted orators. They might not be able to stand in front of a room and present.
There might be introverts.
But they can understand what the client is looking for. They can understand what his requirements are. They can connect with them on a human level. And most importantly is once they've identified all the requirements of a buyer, they're able to provide good options. That means their market knowledge is
high.
up to date. Is high. They know the options on their fingertips and they have the product confidence. So you could be someone that's a gifted salesperson, but you don't have the product knowledge, and you could burn through a very good lead. Whereas someone who you might look at and be like, I'm not sure if this guy has,
sales,
the salesy look sort of thing. He might not be the best looking, or he might not be the tallest, or he might not be the, looks like the best speaker.
The real estate groom, charm, sales guy.
When you think of a real estate broker, you think of a guy in a nice suit, tall, good looking, driving a nice fancy car. But no, some people don't look like that, but they end up selling a lot. Because I think a lot of these skills can be taught. I think people who have good discipline, they have, the discipline to, follow up. They have the discipline to study. They have the discipline to, once again, even after they've closed a deal, not just go home and relax and spend money, but to stay on top of their game. The grind. There's so many wasted potentials that we come across every day. I look at some of my guys and I'm like, guys, come on, man. You just closed a deal right now. It doesn't mean you go on a vacation. It doesn't mean that you get your eyes off the game. This is the time that you capitalize.
You multiply. The growth mentality is lacking
missing
in some people.
So that is something I believe that it can be taught. There are people throughout my career and throughout my life that I have met, that might not have been in real estate, in different fields. Luckily, we are in a field where we meet very successful people. Real estate is generally bought by people with money. People with money generally, unless you're born into it, generally are people, very smart people who have either done very successful in their business, successful in their life. They are in a position to buy such, expensive properties. You learn so much from these people.
Of course,
I've had the pleasure to meet such people, and throughout my life, I have met people that have unlocked
some things
something
in your head.
in my mind that I'm like, oh wow,
Yeah.
why don't I implement this in my business? People from a completely random line of business can end up telling me something about their work that I then implemented in my business, and it helped me grow.
Look, I think by the way, I have the also a sales background. I used to work in luxury retail with Louis Vuitton. And
One of my favorite brands.
it's a very beautiful brand to work in. Like the culture of Louis Vuitton or luxury retail in general, it changed you. Like what you said, like you meet a lot of rich people, and in Louis Vuitton you have to build relationship rather than just selling. So by building the relationship, you gotta rub the knowledge with these people. So you gotta learn stuff.
Yeah.
And I agree with you completely. But because also I was in sales. And I'm very motivated and passionate about sales. I like sales movies. I like to hear about sales and all of that. It happened to be that there is two type of sales people. There is the hunter kind of type. Maybe they're sharp, good looking, very confident, but they're hunters. They want to close fast.
Yeah.
And then there is the farmers. The farmers, they take their time. Maybe they're introverts. As you said, they have a lot of knowledge, they're analytic and all of that. In real estate, like for example, in luxury retail or in any retail, it's better to be a hunter.
Yes, because you have to be more aggressive. The client walks in, you need to close on the spot.
Exactly.
Or preferably on the spot.
Yeah.
But when it comes to bigger ticket items like real estate, not necessarily, once, of course, we do get lucky. We do have clients walking in and
God bless those clients.
making up their purchase in the first meeting. But let's say, I'm throwing a number out there, but I think 80 to 90% of sales do not happen in the first meeting.
Yeah.
People don't just drop 10 million dirhams on a property or 20 million dirhams on a property, with their first meeting.
I agree.
They want to meet the person. They want to have multiple meetings. They want to see multiple properties. They want to know that, is this the right agent I'm dealing with? Is he going to be a good future contact for me? Is he going to be able to manage my portfolio? Is he the right person who's going to be able to resell this property for me if I need, or rent this property or manage this property in the future? So you have to, in real estate, build that relationship, because the aggressive types can sometimes put off buyers as well when they're making big purchases. If you're a guy walking into Louis Vuitton and then you can be aggressive and you can push them to make that purchase now, because most likely if they walk out, they're it'll be a longer process in order to make them buy. But in real estate, you have to be the relationship guy.
You have to be the farmer,
Because that one customer will come again and again and again and again. And the product ticket price is a lot higher.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, and it's worth it as well, to invest that kind of time and effort. If you're selling a smaller ticket item, if you're selling,
it's okay,
you don't
800K,
really need to. You don't want to keep, your database of clients would be much higher in Louis Vuitton. Probably in a day if in a retail environment, you'll have hundreds of people walking in every day. In real estate, the number might not be that big.
It's different.
Fewer clients will yield to much larger volumes.
Maybe one, like a real estate agent, maybe in a whole month, he will deal with 6, 7, 8 people. In retail, in a day, in an hour, we deal with 6 people.
Exactly.
Crazy.
So it's completely different.
But the way you're speaking, you strike me as the hunter type. Am I wrong?
So I was, and I'm generally an aggressive person. That's my type. But I think over the years I've realized that it's not the aggression. So sure, maybe on social media it comes across as that, but when I'm sitting in sales, I'm the opposite of pushy when it comes to sales. I'm like, this is the product, this is it, this is it, this is it, this is it. Of course, there are certain times where as a salesperson, you do have to be pushy when there's an actual deal on the table, and if your client's not buying, you're like, buddy, you're going to come back to me tomorrow, and then you're going to ask me for this, and you're not going to have this deal on the table anymore. And there are certain times where we've pushed clients and they've thanked us in the thank
you pressured them.
Pushed me to buy this because today the price is double.
Yeah.
And of course, we have a lot of things in Dubai real estate that have doubled in the last few years. So you have to, in real estate, certain moments of time you can be pushy, but you can only be pushy once you've built a relationship.
Yeah.
You can't be pushy on the first meeting. They're going to like, dude, this guy just wants to sell me something and, hit and run.
Yeah.
You have to, I think over the years, I've become more of a farmer.
Okay.
And I believe, a relationship guy because I have the same clients, the same portfolios I'm managing for more than 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
I have clients with me for 15 years. I've been managing their portfolio.
Crazy, yeah.
15 years, bro. The clients when I was like 22, 23, I'm still managing their portfolios. Imagine.
That's
this is
great.
And of course they come back down to the office and they're like, Farooq, there was a time where I used to be sitting with you and one assistant, and your father used to sometimes come to the office, and it was the three of you guys, and remember, I'm dealing with you since then, and they remind me every time that
I'll be like, okay, sorry.
Sir, whatever you need. And I value that, I value that
yeah.
relationship. You might not be making, of course, as much money from those guys, but because it's
they're
just,
people. They're
my
people.
guys. They're the guys that trusted me from day one.
Yeah.
And over the years in real estate, because they buy, sell, bring their community, bring their people, bring their contacts. They all come down if you give good service.
I agree, man.
So in real estate, the multiplication factor is huge. One single relationship can make you a millionaire.
Yeah,
one single
I know some people with one client.
Yeah.
If that client doesn't exist in their life, they would have been still broke.
Yeah.
Like it's
There's
that big. Yeah.
There's so many. And it's a common thing in real estate, One single relationship, one single phone call can make you a millionaire.
Wow.
Have to remember that.
That's a field that makes you or breaks you. Yeah. But look, there is something that we have to discuss, especially with you. We've been along for a long time in the market. When we talk about Dubai real estate from a sales standpoint, it's a very intricate field. Why? First of all, Dubai real estate is very unique. Not very unique. It's the only city who have majority of what we're selling is off plan.
Yeah.
You cannot study this from another country. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we are dealing with more than 100 nationality. Let's say at least the main ones, 15 to 20 nationalities. And let's say I am coming to Dubai. I have majority of people are post-corona in Dubai, and it happened that they're in real estate. Maybe they don't have an experience in sales. Yeah. Maybe they were they were selling shoes in their countries. They come here in a field where it's very intricate, very complicated, never happened in anywhere in the world, and they're dealing with a plethora of nationalities. Yeah. If you can think, I know it's a very hard question to throw it to you, but if you can think of few basics that can help someone to at least manage majority of these people in this market.
The beautiful thing of Dubai is that it's a melting pot of different nationalities.
Yeah.
Someone who's coming from overseas and probably has not had that experience of dealing with so many people, you have to network, you have to meet new people, because it's only experience that teaches you how to deal with people. There are some nationalities that you just can't go up and shake their hands with the women. You have to read the room.
Yeah.
All of this obviously comes with experience.
Yeah.
There are mistakes that you're going to make when you're in sales. You're going to be new. You're going to end up sometimes making a fool of yourself. But the only way you're going to learn is when you try to make an effort to meet as many new people. Maybe not just clients, but try to expand your horizon and network of friends as well.
Okay, so the good thing is it can be outside of sales in your everyday life.
You don't want to burn a client by being maybe disrespectful to their culture, by not understanding their culture.
Yeah.
So luckily, once you hopefully join a sales organization, most of the organizations in Dubai, especially in real estate, I can talk about my own field, is that we have agents from all around the world.
Yeah, mixed.
If you look at my office, we have Russians, Kazakhs, Uzbeks, Indians, Pakistanis, of course, Filipinos, Arabs. We have Algerians, we have Tunisians, we have Egyptians, we have Emiratis working for us. We have Americans, Canadians, British. Of course, British is a big nationality. We have French speakers, we have Germans, we have Spanish. All these nationalities in our office. You join our office, you should try to go and have a conversation with different people. You should try to get out of your comfort zone. Rather than speaking to a Spanish client, and not knowing anything about their culture, try to make a Spanish friend. Try to speak to them about their country. Try to learn, in sales, because we are in Dubai and we are going to deal with a lot of people, it'll always help you to gain knowledge. Once you have money, try to travel as much as you can.
Yeah.
I always make it a point to try and travel to new countries so that I can expand my knowledge, because I end up sitting with people from all around the world. You know, a big part of my job today as well is to sit with clients.
Yeah.
Even today I have clients that are coming down to the office, and very often I'll have an agent run into my office and go like, Mr. Farooq, do you mind meeting my client? He bought 3 properties from us. It'd be really nice if you just come and say hi.
Yeah.
And now I'm a relationship guy. You know, I just have to come in.
You're a
meet someone.
PR guy
I'm
suddenly.
a PR guy. You know, I just come in because they've already purchased a property, so now there's not much I can say.
Yeah.
You know, it's more like coming in and building that relationship, letting them know that, you know, you're dealing with us. We're going to make sure that we take care of you and all of that. And a lot of times I'm meeting people from all around the world.
Yeah.
You know, the other day I had somebody who came into my office from South America. This
Latinos.
guy walked into my office with one of my agents, and my agent just literally walked into my office and said, Mr. Farooq, do you have a minute? I said, yeah, what's up? They're like, I have a client. I said, where? Right here. Do you mind saying hi? And I'm like, sure. I'm like, bring them in. You know, I'm like, I don't give you much choice. I can't say no.
Yeah.
So the guy walks into my office.
No, I'm busy.
I'm like, yeah, sure, come on in. And I'm sitting with this guy, young guy in his 30s, his first visit to Dubai. And I'm like, okay, you're going to buy something? I said, okay, so have you purchased something? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Then I look at my agent. She's like, sir, he's bought 10 properties from us. I said, what? She's like, yeah. Remember my client who I told you? And I'm like, no, there's so many people telling me all sorts of
you
deals.
will
I'm like, yeah,
forget.
sure. She's like, the guy had bought over 10 properties without ever coming to Dubai.
Wow.
Imagine that. I said,
Wow.
these are the kind of people that
We want.
This is the kind of wealth that there exists around the world.
Yeah.
You know, having a conversation with this guy, and he's from South America. You know, I learned so much. He's like, Farooq, I'm a tech guy. You know, I've made all my money in tech. I knew about Dubai before I came here, because when I invest in a city, I study it.
Yeah.
I studied
Tech
everything.
people,
He's
they're
I
analytic,
He's like, I walked around all of Dubai. I said, he's like, on Google Maps. I said, wow. I said, wow. You know what? It's interesting when you meet people
He's
like
a
that.
tech guy,
He's
yeah.
a tech guy. Like, dude, I've walked around all of Dubai.
On Google
He's like,
Maps.
It's my first visit, but I walked around all of Dubai because obviously I've made so many purchases in the last 1 year. So I've been analyzing, reading, you know, literally it's like I've visited every developer. I've watched everything on social media. I watched you. I've watched other brokers. I've watched everyone. You know, when I purchase something, I don't just buy because, you know,
And I'm sure he was watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube.
So it came from YouTube,
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously, I don't know what the source of the lead was, but he watched all our YouTube content. He watched a lot of our social media, and not just ours, others as well.
Yeah, of course.
So there was a lot of analysis that went to this, but this is the kind of beauty that, you know, in Dubai you get to meet such people.
Yeah.
So if you're someone new in sales, coming back to your question, try to get out of your comfort zone. You know, there's a lot of, for example, I'm from Pakistan. Some Pakistanis come in and they just want to mingle with other Pakistanis here. Or if you're an Arab, you come in and just try to find your community.
Yeah.
Which is good as well in a certain way. You know, you want to feel like you're
But
you're
expand.
home.
Yeah.
You gotta expand, especially if you're in sales, because you never know who you're meeting.
I agree.
Imagine if, you know, I meet someone, like if you're trying to sell me something and you start speaking in my language,
You'd be like, whoa,
I'm
yeah.
like, whoa, who's
You
this
will
guy?
fall in love. Yeah, you will fall in love. Like if someone who's not from your culture speak your language, you
that
like
is
them more.
Exactly. Let's say, fine, you can learn everyone's language,
obviously,
but
yeah.
at least learn something about their culture, their country, the names of their cities, some areas, the name of their movie stars, something, their famous singers.
I noticed something when you meet someone from a different culture, and let's say you ask him where you're from, and he tell you his country, and you give him an insight or an information about his country, you will feel their eyes light up. Like,
exactly. Wow.
You will feel like you did an impact on them. They like you more.
Exactly. So it's the warmth that you create in your prospect.
But to summarize your your answer, if someone comes to Dubai, which is as we said, a very hard place to sell real estate, especially in real estate, you have to have a discovery phase. This is your if we want to summarize your answer, you have to discover those multiple nationalities within the city.
Of course.
Because you can find them, they can be your neighbors, the person you play basketball with, the person in your office. So capitalize on that.
Yes. Try to go out of your comfort zone and meet new people.
That's amazing. I mean, it's hard for some people and easier for others, but in the end of the day, no man is an island. So you cannot just come in a city and just stay alone. And if you want to start, you can start with your community to get a warm up, and then you expand from that.
Expand your horizon.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about nationalities, if we're gonna dive deeper into to follow up on the previous question, do you think like in terms of nationalities, or let's say continents or regions, if there is something different between one region and the other that you notice in your sales process?
Oh, there's a huge difference between cultures.
Yeah.
People from this region, they're more about relationships. There are Europeans who are not as much about relationship, they're more analytic.
Okay.
They want to go, sometimes when you walk into a meeting, if you sit with a Khaliji person, they're big buyers in Dubai. If you sit down with them and we just straight go into, all right, so the purpose of this meeting is this new project by Imar, and who are you?
Relax, habibi.
Relax.
Chill with us. Speak coffee.
Hey, let's not dive straight into business.
What's your name?
You speak.
How are your father?
How's your father? How are you doing? How's your family? What are you doing?
I agree.
How long you been here? No, so you have to build that relationship with that culture.
Yeah.
Whereas if you sit down with a German person and you start going like, oh, how's your family? How's your? You're like, yo,
sorry,
why are you? None of your business.
Yeah. I agree actually.
So that's the kind of answer you'll get. So you have to read the room, read the culture, understand that there are some people, Arabs sometimes they will speak 80% of the meeting
about something else. I agree with you.
Relationship.
Yeah.
They want to build a relationship.
Yeah.
They want to feel comfortable who they're dealing with. They want to build that trust.
Yeah.
And if they're comfortable, 20 minutes, 20% of the meeting is numbers, facts, figures, done. If they like you, they trust you, it's going to be a smooth process. If they don't like you, khalas.
Even if you're the best agent, they don't like you.
They want to make sure that they're dealing with people they like.
Yeah.
And Germans or
Europeans
in general, of course, there is a relationship in every culture that you have to build, the trust that you have to gain, but it's more analytical.
Yeah, it's built on knowledge.
Exactly. So
numbers.
There is differences in all cultures. With Chinese, it's a different style of doing business. Once again, they're a very relationship-based.
The Chinese?
Yeah.
Really? I thought they're also more analytical.
But they have to build trust. It's not easy. At least in real estate, what I have noticed with the buyers that we have who are Chinese, it's a trust game. It's very difficult to win the trust of the Chinese.
That's why I feel like, coming back to Louis Vuitton, I feel like when a Chinese client enters, they look for the Chinese salesperson.
Yeah. 100%.
And they have a different system of thinking. It's very hard to understand. Even in sign language, they have their own software. They're different than the other people.
I think every culture has its own unique characteristics.
Yeah.
That's why in our company, when we look at on a broader scale, because when we're hiring to target a market, we like to hire people from that country. So if we want to target the Iranian market, you'll always notice that the Iranians will always prefer dealing with Iranians.
Yeah.
The
Chinese.
the Chinese will always prefer dealing with the Chinese. The Arabs, depends.
They deal with everybody.
They deal with everyone, but there are some Arabs, for example,
deal with
they
Arabs.
to like Arabs because they feel more comfortable with the. If there's a language barrier.
Yeah, I agree.
If they're not as comfortable in English, they would prefer dealing with an Arabic person.
Yeah. The language, I think, is the biggest dominator when it comes to preference of clients. Like if I enter to a sales room and I want to buy something and I see an Algerian, I might want to deal with the Algerian because I can speak my dialect directly, but it helps.
Yeah.
But regardless of this, so to come back to the Chinese, you said they also want to build trust like the Arabs, but is it the same style of conversation or how you can delve deep? Like if someone is non-Chinese and he want to sell to the Chinese, because we know that they're one of the biggest buyers.
Very difficult.
Very
difficult.
Very difficult.
Very honest with you, very difficult. But of course, there are Chinese that speak perfect English where they don't have language barriers, and they're very analytical. They study a lot. They have a different preference. In my experience, they've always liked to be in tall towers because that's what they're used to back home in their country.
They're being told what?
Tall towers.
So you have to
real estate. You have to understand their preferences.
Okay.
So, for example, there's the area in Dubai called Dubai Creek Harbor, which is famous for Chinese. They love it because they believe it's the future. They believe it's a new downtown. They're attracted to tall towers, tall structures, the biggest, the best of everything. Whereas if you meet an Indian or a Pakistani buyer, many of them prefer to be in villas or townhouses because back home in our country, the idea of purchasing a villa or a townhouse or a piece of land is something we associate with.
Yeah. They're like spacious and privacy. Spacious places and privacy.
For us, the idea of buying, when you become successful, you have to move into a villa or you move into a townhouse. Apartments, in Pakistan, for example, in my country, are regarded as more affordable housing.
Yeah.
So for us, our aspiration is to live in a villa or a townhouse.
Yeah, I
Similar in India as well, except people from, let's say, certain cities like Bombay, where they're very used to living in apartments.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they find it convenient to live in an apartment rather than living in a villa. So even within a country, you can have differences in opinions from people from different countries. If you talk to somebody from a different part of India, they would prefer to be in a villa, whereas some people, they prefer to be in apartments. So even the product mix and the preference, if we go into a different style, I mean, if you talk about Louis Vuitton, there are some cultures that love flashy things. They love the gold color and they love LV written on like everywhere. And they love to wear those Gucci shirts that have GG written. And then you have certain cultures who prefer quiet luxury.
I agree. It's segmented in more of classes when it comes to luxury goods. So even I think in a little bit of real estate, there's in each country there is the people who like quiet luxury. There are people who like loud luxury, or like it's about classes more than nationalities. But to come back to the nationality segmentation, in real estate, for example, I know that the culture is more predominant on choosing the unit, because like we are like you guys in Algeria. For us, when you get successful, you go to a villa, you go to spacious stuff. So I understand you. There's similarities in here. So I can see that the culture affects how you're gonna pick your unit here in the UAE.
And sometimes even distance makes a big difference. So for example, if you deal with a client from Canada, for example, or in America, they're used to staying an hour away from downtown.
Yeah, for them it's like, 30 minutes is good. Yeah.
When I speak to someone and I tell them the valley in Amara is, for example, 30-minute drive from downtown, they're like, that's close.
Very close.
And very close. And I'm like, really? A Dubai guy might find it to be far.
For us, 15 minutes is like, bro, it's far away. Let's meet halfway, man.
Exactly. If you go Dubai south to downtown, khalas, it's too far away. We consider a different city. But for them, it's like, okay, 45 minutes from downtown. That's close.
Amazing. Yeah.
They're like, we don't go to downtown every day, which is, by the way, kind of true. If you live in, I don't know, on this side of town, which is Dubai Marina or Palm or JLT or Emirates Living, you might not be going to downtown every day. Why?
I know some people, they don't go to downtown by months, like 3, 4, 5 months. They don't go like, it's been 5 months I didn't visit downtown.
Because everyone lives in their own sort of bubble. You go to your school or your place of work,
circle of friends,
your circle of friends, your same sort of supermarkets and places that you have to go with your kids or whatever. You live in that little bubble in that which is area centric.
I have a quick question, like outside of this subject, because we are both, like, I'm also like almost brought up in Dubai. Are you more of a Marina guy or a downtown guy?
No, I'm more of this side of town, Marina, Emirates Living.
Yeah, you're like me.
Palm, Jumeirah, and all of
Me
it.
too, bro.
I don't go, but I go to work every day in Business Bay.
I know, but like,
when I'm out of work, I prefer, because I live on this side of town, so going back to downtown, I find it to be a mission. For me, take me to Marina, JLT, take me to
I love it, man.
Emirates Living, Palm. This is
your area. Like, you're like me.
I like to.
It's way. I
don't
know
the
what.
Emirates and Dubai Hills Mall. I think those are the two malls for me. I don't like to go
the best, to
Dubai Mall or anything, because I find it to be too.
I don't understand. I think us, the people who've been in the UAE for a long time, majority of us, we prefer this side of town, like Marina, the Palm, JLT, this. But I'm noticing a lot of people, they love downtown. Like they're like, I feel like the newcomers are, downtown is the best.
Because downtown, as the name downtown suggests, is the center of the city. So everyone, especially when buying real estate, they measure the distance from downtown for everything. But now what they need to understand is Dubai is going to have 5.
We're going to come to that. This is a very hot subject. We're going to talk about it soon.
So it's not downtown. It's not the only central district. You have the old Dubai, which is your Bur Dubai. Dera, that's one district. Dubai Silicon Oasis is now becoming another district.
I love
Dubai
it.
South is another district. Marina and JLT is another district, whereas downtown is another district. So all of these are central districts of city, which are also sort of mini downtowns.
I agree.
Because Dubai is expanding exponentially. We're a city of 4 million people now.
It's a very unique city. Like, you cannot measure it like the other cities in the world. But to come back to a very important segment of people, we talk about nationalities. We talk about the Indians and the Pakistanis. We talked about like the Chinese. We talked about the Europeans, the Arabs. But lately, we are having a huge influx of North Americans.
That's right. Canadians and Americans.
Yeah. By the way, they're my favorite people here. Like before knowing a lot of Americans, you know, the stereotype.
Mine too.
Yeah, Americans, like we judge them about how we perceive them from political standpoint. But when you meet them here, they're very warm people.
I love North Americans so much. I married one.
Wow, amazing.
My wife is Canadian and my kids are Canadian. But they're Pakistani Canadians.
Yeah.
But still. Still sort of North American.
Yeah, they have the software of the software of Pakistan, but look, I mean, I feel like these type of people in terms of sales, they're different. Like, do you feel like compared to the rest of the nationalities, are there more like the Europeans? Are they more like the Arabs? Because I feel like they're the Arabs. They like to build relationship.
So what we've noticed in Dubai, I mean, now North America is becoming one of the top nationalities of people buying property in Dubai. I mean, they're still far from being the top, but they are gaining momentum now. However, within America and Canada, most of the clients that we're seeing are of Indian, Pakistani, or Arab descent.
It starts with them and then it will end up being...
So right now, most of the buyers that we're seeing, so we do a lot of business in North America. In the US, for example, we have a few hot spots of sales. For example, Texas is a hot spot where you have...
Texas?
Yeah, Texas. We have Austin, Houston, and Dallas.
Wow.
All three cities have a huge Indian and Pakistani market, and Arabs as well. Same thing. In New York, in Miami, in LA, these three major cities have a huge influx of Arabs, and they have the Indian and Pakistani community. They're the ones that are first investing. First of all, in the US and Canada, those sub-communities have money as well. And they have this interest to be closer to home.
Yeah, it's like the US, but with the culture of...
With the culture of this thing. Plus, a lot of them have been traveling to Dubai because of flying Emirates. So a lot of your Arab nationals that live, or Arab descent people that live in the US and still have ties back home, generally they come to Dubai for a day and then they go back home. Same thing with Pakistanis and Indians.
Yeah.
All of them travel via Emirates. So they stop over in Dubai, they learn about the city and they go like, wow. And then they hear so much about Dubai real estate. And Dubai's done a phenomenal job in marketing itself.
Yeah.
Internationally and globally. So
the PR
that is the
level.
kind of people from North America right now buying. You don't necessarily have a huge influx of, let's say, the white American guy that is coming down to Dubai. But of course, it's gonna.
I noticed something else
as well.
Yeah, it will. Sooner or later, I met some white Americans, if we might call them like this. Hey, here, if you're from the US, we don't have the politically correct stuff yet. We will never have it. But I noticed the African American community is growing rapidly. Yeah. That I've seen a lot of them here, and I have a couple of friends there from there, and they're living here. They're living, and around 5 to 6 years, post-corona, pre-corona, and they love it. And I think we will have a lot of them coming to Dubai.
I think overall people are realizing that this region of the world is the new Western civilization.
I agree.
The Western world is
crumbling.
It's crumbling. I mean, if you look at Europe, all around Europe. Last week I was in London. Every person I met kept telling me the same thing. Don't wear your watch. Don't wear your watch. Don't wear your watch. Yeah. Don't wear a watch. Doesn't matter which watch. Yeah. Just don't wear a watch.
Look homeless.
Somebody got stabbed wearing a fake Rolex. A fake Rolex. Imagine a guy got stabbed and lost his life wearing a fake Rolex. The guy who I stabbed this guy, killed a guy for a fake Rolex.
It's sad and funny in the same time.
And this is the same story going on all around Europe. If you have money, this part of the world is quickly becoming the most attractive. And the more you travel around the world, I've had the, luxury of traveling all around the world. And, I go to North America every year, to Canada and to the US. And I studied there as well. So, obviously I know the culture very well.
Yeah.
And I've seen the people with money, they are loving Dubai because of the safety, security, the lifestyle. I mean, dude, we have every fancy restaurant around the world, every famous restaurant. The nightlife over here is second to none. I mean, we have
a beautiful life. We have a beautiful life.
All. And we take it for granted,
We do.
When I was growing up, I remember we used to go to London and we used to go to New York and wear our fancy clothes. Now it's the opposite. You can't wear fancy clothes over there. You can't wear your nice watches. You can't wear your nice, women can't wear their nice bags and jewelry when they go to the US or Canada or Europe. It's not safe anymore. So Dubai is now becoming that city that is attracting the global elite. And I believe it's going to continue doing that. And I believe you're on a very good growth trajectory, obviously because of the leadership. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, of course, all the leaders of all the 7 Emirates and
the surrounding.
And the surrounding.
Like
not
Saudi,
just
Bahrain, Qatar.
We're all evolving.
And also there is, I think I have a very spiritual view on this, and even a little bit historical. There is a pattern when it comes to civilization. I feel like civilization is an energy, is something that is alive in a way. If you think a little bit historically, you have, okay, we're going to drop Mesopotamia, we're going to go directly to the Egyptian civilization. Yeah. The pyramids, they were in the beginning, mid of that, the peak of that civilization, but mostly in the beginning. You travel a little bit, like further down the line, you see the Romans, the Colosseum, also beginning, mid of that civilization. Then you go, you see the Big Ben or the Eiffel Tower is the beginning of like the revolution of like the Industrial Revolution and all of that. And it was also in the beginning of that civilization. And then when the UK dropped, like the British governing the world, they dropped, it went to the US, and you have the Statue of Liberty. It's another monument. Like civilization have this icons, print, this building or this something, it shows where the civilization is going. Yeah. To me, that icon now is Burj Khalifa.
100%.
It's clear as, because I'm a big fan of history. So this is how I see it. Like I feel like civilization is coming to this region. Yeah. Like I'm talking about the whole region.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look at what's happening in Saudi. Yeah. What they're developing. Their new projects. There are things that they
crazy, that line project,
AI, or a sci-fi movie. Sorry,
literally, you can see the future,
But which city in Europe has any projects that are even similar to this? I mean, they're living off of historical monuments.
Yeah,
Dubai is developing those.
So it's beautiful what they have, but like what's happening here is the future. Like,
if you look at Museum of the Future, you look at Burj Khalifa, you mentioned, look at all of these new buildings and new monuments and new structures that are developing. This is becoming the future of civilization.
And we're not bashing this civilization, or we're saying they will go to the dirt. No, because if you notice civilization, when civilization go from one place to another, that other place, that they don't go to dirt or they become primitive. No, they stay somewhere around the same, and it's a step ahead. So Europe will still be beautiful. The US will still be amazing. Yeah. But here it will be just the future. It's the next step. Yeah, that's how I see it. Yeah. But to come back to this city specifically, we spoke about this 5 pillars of the city. And you said something earlier that, Chinese see Creek as the new downtown. Before we go to the 5 pillars, there is it's not a misconception. It's just something that people are debating a lot. And I want to pick your brain about this. Some people see Creek as the new downtown. And some other, they say, no, Dubai South is the new downtown. And some people say, no, the old downtown will always stay the downtown. Yeah. What's your stand? Where do you stand in this debate?
I think we're going to have different urban centers. All right? We're going to have, like I said, Dubai South, where is the new airport. There's a lot of development happening.
Yeah.
So when you are living in an urban center, which is because we have one city named over here, which is Dubai. If you look at, I'll compare it to Canada, for example. You have Toronto as the main city, which is downtown Toronto. All right. Then you have other cities surrounding it.
Yeah.
All right. Then you have, for example, my wife is from Mississauga, all right, which is about 45 minutes away from downtown. But if you live in Mississauga, your life is in Mississauga. If you live in another city called Milton, your life is in Milton. If there's another city called Oakville, it's all a part of the GTA, which is the Greater Toronto Area, which is GTA. Yeah, but it's multiple cities put together, and that's all referred to as Toronto.
Okay.
So same thing, Dubai is now going to become like that. Of course, we still call it Dubai. We don't call Dubai Creek Harbor City, or we don't call Expo Dubai South is a different city.
Yeah.
But they're becoming more and more like these major cities around the world.
Yeah.
So if you live, you probably go to work in Dubai South. Your kids are probably going to go to school in Dubai South. Your life is going to revolve around Dubai South. Like you said, there are people who live around Marina and GLT. They've 5 months they haven't been to downtown. If you ask me, I don't remember the last time I went down to Dera except when I go to the airport. That's it. For no other reason. Because I have no work there. I have no business there. I have no friends there.
Yeah.
So, I'd never end up venturing to those parts of the city where I don't have any connections.
Yeah.
So if you live in Dubai South, you're not going to compare the distance to Dubai Creek Harbor.
Yeah.
The reason why they say Dubai Creek Harbor is like the new downtown is because there's some similarities. Like they're going to have a new tallest tower that's going to be coming up over there. There's going to be a new, very large mall that is going to be coming up over there, which is the
one
Imar
with
Square.
the open street, like
it's going to be
with ventilation.
It's Imar building it, so you can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, if Dubai Mall was built 10, 15 years ago, now you can just imagine what they're going to do with Dubai Creek.
I'm waiting for that mall. I'm waiting for that mall,
beyond our current imagination. So there are some similarity, and of course, there's a lot of tall towers in the vicinity. So that's why they compare it to downtown. It's not too far. It's just a 10-minute drive from downtown as well, right? That's why people call it the new downtown. But if you're living in any of the 5 urban centers in Dubai, I feel like your life will revolve in that area. You're going to have the best malls, the best schools, the best everything in those areas. So you might not have to venture out of those areas.
And this is where we're going to come back to those 5 districts. I think, just to clarify for the audience, we have, downtown as a district. We have Marina JLT.
As a district.
We have what's going to happen with Creek, Dera, Dubai Island.
Exactly. That whole area.
That's going to be, I don't know what's going to happen.
There's a lot happening.
It's going to be big because it has this contrast. You have culture and you have luxury and you have, like Creek. It's like high standards of living. It's going to be crazy. Yeah.
Dubai Islands, Maritime City, Rashid Yachts and Marina, Jumeirah Pearl, all of these islands off the coast of Dubai are going to be super luxury.
Yeah. And you have, Dubai South. And I'm one of the people who believes that the real, like, Dubai will lock it as the new or the static downtown will be in South, because if you think about the word downtown is where people, they go to work.
Yeah.
I believe. So Dubai South is taking that vibe. It's more of a business. It's becoming more of a business place. That's why I think it will be the downtown.
So Dubai South, if you look at it currently, there's a lot of villa communities. So there's less towers that are currently there. Of course, in the future, they have certain districts that have been planned, which are going to have taller towers. Right now, if you look at it, it's mostly mid-rise or villa communities.
Yeah.
So, for example, you have Imar South, which is all pretty much villas, and they have a few buildings in the center on the golf course, but it's mostly villas. Behind that, you have Azizi Venice, which is coming up, which is smaller buildings, mid-rise, residential, plus villas. Besides that, you have BT Properties. You have multiple major developers. You have Dubai South as a developer, which is coming up with its own villas and townhouses. So a lot of the development there is either because of the airport as well. You can't have too many tall towers right next to the airport. But most of those areas are more suburban residential areas that are developing. And of course, you have your business warehouses. You have your commercial activity, which is happening over there. You have Javza, which is Jabal Ali Free Zone, very close to Dubai South. So that's an entire commercial monster in itself. So
especially Javza is the beast, one of the beasts that are pushing the city from a long time.
Of course. So you will have a different vibe in that part of the city. I think each urban center is going to be unique in itself.
I agree.
Marina, JLT, of course, the high-rise buildings. Downtown and Creek, also high-rise buildings. Silicon Oasis, mid-rise, and a lot of newer developments are coming up in that entire vicinity. When you have Dubai Land, and you have all of these new areas that are developing around Silicon Oasis, like Dubai Land Residential Complex, Majan, Liwan. All of these areas are new developments. And then you have a lot of villa communities in that area as well. So Dubai is expanding.
It's stretching,
we are not only, but we are 4 million people right now. The Dubai's plan is to double. So just imagine all of these buildings, they have to double in the next 15 years.
In
put it down like that, you're going,
crazy.
Damn, that's a lot. Because Dubai is so big in itself already. Doubling a population of a city requires to double the housing options. You have to double the number of offices, you have to double the number of houses, you have to double the number of schools, you have to double the number of grocery stores, you have to double the number of supermarkets, you have to double the number of whatever
roads,
business you're in.
Everything
you have to double. So that is a massive
and everybody is coming here. Everybody is like both pushing and pulling. So the other countries or the other continents, they're pushing people out to here, and here they're pulling people in. So I'm sure it's gonna happen. But there is something I always remember. In 2005-06, I used to live in Karama. I used to be a Karama kid. Okay, so there was this poster on the wall of Dubai 2050.
Dubai 2050.
Yeah, a picture drawn Dubai 2050.
All right.
And there was a lot of high rises. This is 2006.
Wow.
I remember that picture very clear. And I can assure you, bro, that picture, I can see the similarities between that picture I seen and what's happening now. It's like crazy. And it's just, I don't know who did that. Like, it was just some drawing on a wall.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I always remember that picture.
2 days ago, I was reading one of Sheikh Muhammad's book. So, I read all his books, but there's one of them that I haven't read. It's called Happiness and Positivity by Sheikh Muhammad Rashid Al Maktoum. So, in that, he was talking about when his late father, His Royal Highness Sheikh Rashid Al Maktoum, when he decided to build the World Trade Center in the 70s.
The tallest...
this was the tallest building
in the Middle East.
In the region. Exactly, in the entire Middle East region. This was the tallest building. Yeah. And, of course, it was a crazy project. But what was the most craziest thing? Was the location he chose for it. Because he decided to build it so far away from the city. Because you have to remember, in the 70s, the city was only
nothing.
Naif,
like, there were nothing there.
Dubai, Dera, that area.
Zabil area was nothing.
Yes. So they said in 70s, you're building something in the other end of the city, outside in the middle of the desert. He said, no, my vision is that one day there are going to be tall towers lined up on this street all the way. And imagine, in the 70s, Sheikh Rashid Al Maktoum had this vision. It's easy to have a vision today when the city is such a beautiful place.
But back then,
when it's a fishing village where everybody's a pearl diver, there is nothing in the city, there's desert.
Yeah.
And he decided to build a tower in the middle of the desert, and he said, my vision is to have... And there's
his son, he followed him with Emirates Mall. It's somehow the same thing,
And I'll even share a story when my father purchased his first property in Dubai in 2001. We used to live in Dera back in the day in Al Riga Street, which used to be a very nice location.
Still now, I like it. You can take a walk there.
And at that time, my dad purchased his first property, which was an apartment in the Greens, followed by a townhouse in the Springs.
Bro, the Greens is my favorite place to live in here.
People told my father, you're buying something in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
There is nothing.
Yeah.
After Trade Center, there used to be Toyota buildings. All right. Then you drive in the desert. You used to see some villas in Jumeirah.
Yeah.
Then you drive. Then you used to see a Hard Rock Cafe. And then you drive. Then used to be Springs and Meadows. And that too.
And then Jabal Ali,
And I remember when he purchased it, he did a study after he purchased it. Somebody said, did you know this property is not on Sheikh Zayed Road? They said, really? He said, it's 5 kilometers inside from Sheikh Zayed Road, because the Greens was not, the first Springs and stuff. They launched the Springs, which was more inside. So they said it's 5 kilometers inside in the desert. And people said, khalas, first of all, you bought something 40 minutes down here, and then another 20 minutes inside the desert. You will never be able to go to your house.
Yeah.
So imagine at that time, Sheikh Muhammad Rashid had this vision that, no, I'm going to launch this. Then everything that is closer to the city will become more attractive. And this is the planning of the Sheikh and planning of their leaders.
Yeah.
That they develop those parts, and everything before becomes way more attractive. So imagine the vision and the vision of Sheikh Rashid when he made the Trade Center in the middle of the desert. And Sheikh Muhammad Rashid when he built Springs and Meadows and Emirates Hills in the middle of, at that time, what was regarded as the desert.
And they're doing they're following the same pattern. What they did in Expo, same pattern.
Yeah. In the middle of the desert, they went and they built an Expo.
Yeah, the same pattern.
And they said, we will build this whole part of the city, which is literally a big piece of desert.
Farooq, it was an amazing conversation. I will bring you back again if you are up for it.
It'll be my pleasure.
It was one of the episodes that I really longed for. It's been, my vision, talking about vision before I started my podcast. I remember it was like, once I start, I will one day invite this gentleman because he's one of the, and even before I decide to be a real estate podcast, imagine that, what I mean? So thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Farooq from Springfield, you have been checked.
Thank you so much.
It's my honor.
It's my honor. Thank you so much.
We're done.
Absolutely good.
Thank you.
That was good. Yeah, I felt like I was like.